All right, 90% of successful marketing comes down to messaging, right? How you say certain things. Okay, so what we're going to do in this lesson is we're going to talk about how to take your course or your offer from a commodity, which is just information, and take your course or offer from one of many and use messaging to make it the obvious choice. And this is especially important in affiliate marketing because we can't actually change the offer, right? Our third-party partner has created it. All we can do is change how we talk about it, okay? So people in this business typically get into trouble when they start selling a course, okay? They get into trouble when they're talking about the education. They get into trouble when they start saying, you know, this is the one I recommend because it's got X, Y, and Z, okay? So what we can do is we can position our offer as a unique solution to a specific problem that we first define. And this is really important because this is just a list of some of the Make Money Online courses out there in the space right now, and there's always more coming down the river. So you see, we need to communicate how our thing is different through messaging. So really what we have to do is we have to develop and then sell the USP, the unique selling proposition, basically the feature or characteristic of a product that makes it distinguishable and therefore more appealing. I always say if you want to sell more courses, sell less course. And that's what we really have to boil down to when we're promoting our offer, is what is the unique thing about it? And then we just sell that, okay? Now, this is so important that I actually devoted an entire lesson to one of my most successful courses that is now inside my mentorship community. So you probably heard about USPs in the past, or maybe you've heard something along the lines of this. You can also think about like positioning statements, you know, things that marketers put in their bio. And here's a couple that you've probably seen. You've probably seen I help who, right? Demographic, target customer, get specific result, make money without painful thing, which is, you know, complicated technology, using a differentiator, using our done-for-you funnels, right? Whatever, our specific method, doesn't matter. Another one you've probably seen or is very common in the marketing space is this new opportunity, right? Like this AI software is the key to their desire, which will be, you know, help you get a ton of traffic and is only attainable through my specific vehicle, said software. You know what I mean? So those are two very common ways to communicate your USP, but I think it goes a little bit better like this. I think this is a much easier way to think about creating your USP. And this is more of an exercise for you when you find your offer. Because when you go through this, you'll start to understand more clearly what specific problems your offer can solve for your customer that other products can't. And sometimes it gets a little tricky to think about, all the offers are the same. They're not when you use proper messaging. So this is what I mean by first define the problem and then show how our thing can solve it, right? So we'll go through this exercise. Almost everyone is trying to achieve blank. Almost everyone is trying to achieve money is doing this, right? And so if I look in the space right now, I say, almost everyone who is trying to make money with affiliate marketing is selling with a Stan Store. Okay, and then we say the problem with that is, and the reason that's a problem, the problem with that is that doesn't allow you to nurture your leads with automation, and it exposes the price before people have gotten all the information. So therefore they say no before they can make an informed decision, right? And then we get to the which ultimately means, which means people have a hard time selling courses and they never make any money and fail, right? Okay, so you see how that we go through that. And then we come around and talk about how our thing can solve that problem. So for example, with Level Up, my community, I could say, so instead, Level Up gives people done-for-you funnels, much like the one that you're on, right? Which allows marketers of Level Up to not only have a pre-made container that nurtures their list, but also gives them a high perceived value lead magnet, which can help them get a bigger list and actually get more views, which ultimately means Level Up affiliates are set up for success from beginning to end and are likely to make way more $500 sales. So the reason that works, even though it's just an exercise, is because what this does is this changes the state of your target market. Because right in the beginning, before you define the problem, okay, this is really big. Before you define the problem, they're probably worried about a million different things, right? And our brains can only focus on really solving one problem at a time, right? You probably noticed this in your life. If you were low on cash, for example, and you had a bill coming up, that's all you can think about. And then when you pay that bill, generally you start thinking about the next problem, right? Well, that's what we're doing here with this USP strategy is because they are listening to us either through our content or through our emails or whatever, they're listening to us. So if we highlight a specific problem that is common in the space, that's what they're going to start thinking about. And they think, oh, that's the thing that's preventing everyone from making money. So then when we come back around and not position our course as a million different things, but position our course as the specific solution to the very problem we just asked them to think about, it's going to make our course look a lot more attractive. And that this exercise and just getting comfortable with it and drilling down to the uniqueness of your program and defining the problem first, right? Those are the things that can take your course in their moment of decision and in their mind, take it from commodity to obvious choice. Little marketer's trick. All right, now we'll see in the next video where we'll start talking about content, because once we have an offer and the USP of the offer, obviously we want to start getting the message out. So I'll show you some really cool ways to get leverage with your content. Even if you've never created content, you're not an expert, you don't have results, just tips and tricks and really strategies that you can lean on so you can stand out from the crowd.